Nintendo, you make incredible games, some of the best games in the history of this industry, but when it comes to how you treat your community, how you treat community content, community mods, community fan projects, community events, you name it, you're among the worst. You almost put Take-Two's treatment of Grand Theft Auto modders to shame. And in this case, we're going to talk about something that happened with Did You Know Gaming, who recently made a video titled Lost Zelda Game for Nintendo DS, Heroes of Hyrule. It's a really fascinating video about a game that Retro Studios, the makers of Metroid Prime, pitched to Nintendo called Heroes of Hyrule. It's this tactics Zelda game, and they recently managed to get a hold of a 22-page document that details what this game was supposed to be before Nintendo decided to pass on it. This was pitched back in 2004 when Metroid Prime 2 was getting finished. It's got a lot of cool details about what the story was supposed to be, about aspects of its gameplay and its characters, and some of the artwork here apparently was taken from that design document. Looks really cool, honestly. It's kind of unfortunate it never got made. Maybe there's a good reason for it, but I am fascinated by the ideas presented here by the design document procured by Did You Know Gaming. For those who are interested in what that game was supposed to be and are just interested in a bit of video game history, Nintendo, however, would have you believe that this is content that should not be online, as they try to get rid of this video in its entirety. Keep in mind that this is essentially journalism. Did You Know Gaming did not sign any NDAs if they receive information from somebody who worked at Retro Studios, which is how this design document was accrued. They are within their rights to report something as news, as a report, and this is pretty much what this is. It is journalism and a look at a video game that ultimately never got made. But on December 7th, 2022, Did You Know Gaming released the following statement after Nintendo of America copyright struck them. So here's what that statement reads like. Nintendo has removed our Heroes of Hyrule video from YouTube. This was a journalistic video documenting a game that Retro Studios pitched to Nintendo nearly 20 years ago. This is an attempt by a large corporation to silence whatever journalism they don't like and a slap in the face for video game history preservation. We're exploring all available options to restore the video. I could not agree with them more. It is straight up censorship of journalism. It is straight up censorship of history. And Nintendo, maybe they don't want that stuff out there because, corporations tend to be secretive about their projects, be it ones that were greenlit or ones that were not. But the fact remains that they managed to accrue this information fairly and squarely. They're reporting on it, and they're not just releasing copyrighted material, they're talking about it as if it is news, as if it is documentation of something that never was. But Nintendo decided, well, we don't like that being out there. We don't like the kind of journalism you're doing here, so we're going to censor the hell out of that. And that is just incredibly egregious. Corporations don't get to decide what people can or can't talk about as long as the information was accrued in a way that wasn't criminal or in a way that doesn't violate any existing contracts, which in the case of Heroes of Hyrule, it absolutely does not. You can see down here that this was tweeted on December 7th, 2022, months after the video was released. I guess Nintendo didn't realize that the video made its way to the internet until months later. This video right here from Did You Know Gaming was uploaded on October 2nd. So October, November, December, 2 months after the launch of the video, Nintendo, I guess, saw it and decided, whoa, this is information that we don't want out there. Now you can see the level of traction and support that Did You Know Gaming got. Scrolling down, you'll see that this tweet right here has garnered almost 60,000 likes from December 7th up until now, December 29th, 2022. A bunch of retweets and basically people not being entirely surprised that this is the way Nintendo is approaching stuff like this, situations like these, where they'll take matters into their own hands in a manner that is counterproductive to a healthy community or in a manner that gives them no right to censor something that is very much a journalistic piece of work, which is protected by law. They properly decided to make unique content based on the information that they received through a documentation video that Nintendo might not like, but again, corporations don't get to decide and have control over what journalistic reports have the right to be made public and what doesn't. They don't get to decide that a journalistic report or documentation deserves to get censored just because it doesn't align with their own corporate interests. As many made it a point to highlight, this is straight up just DMCA abuse. They abuse the shitty YouTube system in order to damage a video that they didn't deem fit to be up online for the public eye. Now, it took quite a few days, but fortunately, Did You Know Gaming did manage to win this battle. We won. Did You Know Gaming tweeted, "The Heroes of Hyrule video is back up." This was posted on December 28th, 2022, just yesterday. You can see right here a screenshot of the notification they got when the video was restored. "Dear Did You Know Gaming, in accordance with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, we have completed processing your counter notification. The following videos have been restored unless you have deleted them." Now, I'm curious as to whether it was YouTube who looked at the situation and decided Nintendo was in the wrong and they went out of their way to protect the video, or if Nintendo decided to backpedal after all of the backlash that they got from this rather immoral move. Did You Know Gaming seems to believe that the gaming community being vocal against Nintendo about this was a major part of why the video was able to get restored. Thank you to everyone who tweeted about this and the sites that reported on it. We have no doubt that the negative response played a part in Nintendo backing down. Also, YouTube confirmed to us that it was indeed Nintendo and not an imposter. It wasn't a Nintendo impersonator that was doing this to damage Nintendo's reputation. Nintendo went out of its way to lock down this video. And finally, they thanked Louis Sorokin for giving them great legal advice and talking them through their options. Really helped us out. It's always incredible to see how tight-knit the gaming community can be when there's clear abuse happening on the part of a corporation. They come together to protest and to essentially help out the afflicted party, and in this case, Did You Know Gaming did come out on top, and Nintendo was not able to get away with their attempted copyright abuse. Now, a big part of why such abuses can happen is because YouTube's own systems are so marred with security loopholes, and their whole DMCA strike system is so easily manipulable, so easy to take advantage of, so easy to exploit by imposters or by official parties. Beyond just how awfully YouTube handles copyright issues, their automated systems when it comes to demonetizing videos that are not age appropriate or content appropriate, that stuff's also pretty broken. Just this past month, we have seen content creators like Lithro reporting how YouTube demonetized his video, which was age appropriate and content appropriate, for no reason whatsoever. He spent 3 months on this one particular video that Team YouTube decided to just limit the monetization for. The video was remonetized days later, but at that point, the damage had been done. The algorithm was negatively impacted and all momentum has faded. And in terms of monetization, obviously all those views that were limited in their monetization, all that money was lost. And all YouTube had to say about all of this is essentially, whoopsie daisies, this was a total mistake on our side, emoji. We're very sorry about that. The age restriction has been lifted and your video is now monetizing. Too little too late, the video wasn't monetizing during the time period where it got the most views. Eventually the views do cap out. There's no accountability on YouTube's part when they make a severe mistake that severely negatively impacts one's livelihood. Another instance comes from RT Game Daniel, who tweeted the following on December 28th, 2022, just yesterday. "I'm absolutely devastated. My best of RT Game 2022 video has been age restricted to 18 plus for no reason and limited. This happened last year for no reason too. Team YouTube, would it be possible to please resolve this? There is nothing about this video that should have garnered the limited monetization." And when a manual review was requested, you can see right here, despite the demonetized video being a whopping 3 hours long, the appeal that was submitted by RT Game Daniel was rejected only 10 minutes after the appeal was submitted, which means that whoever is reviewing this, if it's even an actual person, didn't take the time to actually review the video. And this is just the beginning. A bunch of other videos got demonetized in a similar way from RT Game Daniel's channel. You can see right here just how many videos got demonetized, all of these right here. And at this point, this guy's just stressed and begging for YouTube to do something about it and to resolve this. He does have a representative now looking into this, but it shouldn't take this much time, effort, stress, and just exhaustion to resolve a problem that never should have happened in the first place if YouTube had its shit together. So a lot of the copyright abuses and demonetization abuses that happen on the platform has a lot to do with how shoddily the system itself, the platform itself, is built. YouTube's automated system sucks, its manual review systems suck, and the ability for corporations or for imposters to be able to manually copyright things that they have no right copywriting is all just negatively impacting people's motivations to make great videos. But then the other half to that is, of course, Nintendo itself, which has a history of being combative and hostile against its own community. This is an article right here published on December 14th, 2021, released by News Outlet The Gamer, titled "A Snapshot of Nintendo's Convoluted Legal History," and it takes you through everything from Nintendo attempting to eliminate video game rentals, to Nintendo slapping fan creations with cease and desist orders. We're talking about fan games made from scratch out of love that did not monetize. It's just something that fans were passionate about because of their passion for the Nintendo IP that they might have made a fan creation out of, that Nintendo decided to nuke because Nintendo has just no appreciation for its community. And it's not just games, we're talking about fan films, fan trailers, and then the way they demonetize videos or DMCA strike videos from content creators who don't abide by Nintendo's very strict and specific rules, who don't join their Nintendo Creators Program. There's a reason why I don't cover a lot of Nintendo games. It's because I don't want to deal with Nintendo's bullshit. I'd rather forego content about their video games entirely instead of having to deal with their corporate shenanigans. They're just so unpredictable on that front that I don't want to risk making Nintendo game content only for that to be demonetized or be copyright struck, and for that to negatively impact YouTube's perception of my channel and them just getting a lot more strict about, how they monetize or demonetize my content, and I just don't want my channel copyright struck to oblivion. So I just decide that it's just not worth making Nintendo-based content. And then, of course, there's the whole situation of Nintendo taking down ROM sites. ROMs are valued because Nintendo does such a piss-poor job of preserving their own games, and there are plenty of older titles that we wouldn't have access to right now in any way, shape, or form if it wasn't for the fact that ROMs and emulators exist to preserve those games. Nintendo's just not done a good job of carrying their incredible library of classic titles over to newer generation consoles, so people have taken matters into their own hands. And yes, piracy is an issue, but the existence of ROMs and emulators, that in itself is not piracy. Piracy is about how that stuff is utilized. And yes, some people will utilize ROMs and emulators for piracy, but there are those who genuinely want to preserve games or who own games but use emulated versions of those games because you can enhance them in some way. And not to mention that with certain games, you just can't buy them right now through Nintendo because they don't offer an official way to purchase these titles. And then more recently, there's the controversy surrounding what's been happening with the Super Smash Bros. Community, with Nintendo contributing to the shutdown of a major tournament that plenty of folks in the Smash Bros. Community, be it esports casters or Smash Bros. Players, were looking forward to. Nintendo, the way they've treated the Super Smash Bros. Community, despite the fact that they've built this community from the ground up and Nintendo's just kind of swooping in to take the prize, the way Nintendo continues to stifle the growth of the Super Smash Bros. Community, and the way they keep getting in the way of Super Smash Bros. Becoming a more prominent esports is just utterly baffling. The community is doing you a favor, and Nintendo's just constantly sabotaging their efforts. If you want to learn about the most recent Super Smash Bros. Debacle involving a prominent tournament and beloved tournament getting shut down, and Nintendo partnering with Panda, this company whose CEO has proven to be just a piece of shit, you can check out this video right here where I kind of go through all of it in this extensive 40-minute long video, but it does go into as much detail as possible. Super Smash Bros. Community revolts against Nintendo and Panda CEO after Smash World Tour gets shut down. But yeah, you get the idea. Nintendo's just so behind the times when it comes to their treatment of the community and how strict their rules are and how much they want to control everything. You gotta let the community be its own living, breathing thing. There are some aspects that the IP owner should control within reason, but when they try to control everything, the community isn't able to just be itself. You know what I mean? It isn't able to just be something that shapes itself and grows. And when Nintendo refuses to really meet them in the middle and they want to be the ones in charge of everything, it's just, there's no community there. It's just Nintendo's way or the highway. And while the unfortunate fact is that Nintendo is allowed to do what they want with their IPs and events and community projects surrounding it because it is their own IP and they can legally shut those down, when it comes to this particular video right here from Did You Know Gaming, Nintendo's actually legally in the wrong. They cannot legally shut this down. This is very much fair use of their property that transforms Nintendo's content into a unique report that ultimately intends to educate people on a piece of gaming history. So yeah, I'm glad that Did You Know Gaming was able to pull through. I'm glad that they were able to come out of this conflict here victoriously. And I'm glad that Nintendo was able to get a piece of humble pie that says, you're not in control of everything, and you certainly cannot abuse copyright to this extent. Or at the very least, that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on Nintendo's handling of their community, and specifically their handling of this specific video that they clearly didn't want to see come to light because of the confidential nature of this information that was never meant for public consumption. Share your thoughts below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.